let you daydream. Don't forget to breathe. Who you wanna be is only up to you.
Hi guys, welcome back to Voice of Aisha. Thank you so very much for tuning in once more. So today I'm going to be talking about self-esteem, self-love, and the power of words. But before I get into that, I just want to give you guys the quote of today. You can search throughout the entire universe for someone who is more deserving of your love and affection than you are yourself. And that person is not to be found anywhere. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserves your love and affection. So I realized that over the years, I have actually been living off the words or the things that other people say about me, right? And I had to put a stop to that because I was living someone else's definition of who I should be instead of defining myself. So maybe you would ask, what is self-esteem? So self-esteem is essentially the way that you see yourself, or how highly or how low you see yourself to be. Self-love is how do I care for myself? How much do I love myself? How much do I appreciate myself? How much do I enjoy my own company, right? And then when you think about the power of words, one of the things that I want to bring into all of this is how words affect us, and also how our words affect other people. Everything else to affect the way you see yourself. And I feel like it's really important because we're in a society where, especially for girls are told they cannot do a lot of things. Girls are bombarded with media and the way you should be and the way you shouldn't. Number one, perfection is an illusion. There's no such thing as a perfect person. We're all imperfectly perfect. You understand what I'm saying? So you also have to be very conscious of the things that you're allowing to affect yourself and the things that you're allowing into your spirit. Self-esteem. How do you see yourself? What are some of the things that you say to yourself on a daily basis that is actually affecting your life? There's this quote that I heard a couple of weeks ago, and it's that the things that you say to yourself and the things that you continually repeat to yourself actually become reality. So if you wake up in the morning and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Oh my God, I'm so ugly. Oh my God, I'm so ugly. That is all that you're going to see. That is all you're going to see every time you look into the mirror. But if you look at yourself and you say, I'm a bold, confident, and beautiful woman, that is what you're going to see. The more you repeat that, the more it becomes reality to you. Okay, now I've talked about the things that you say to yourself that affect you. Now the things that other people say to you that affect you. As much as we would want to say that I'm a carefree person and I'm a carefree black girl and I don't care what people think, I don't care. We do. Let's not lie to ourselves. We do care what people think, but it should be to an extent. And the reason why I say that is this. There should be critical criticism. When someone is telling you something about yourself that is going to allow you to be a better person, you should take that. However, when you're constantly having conversations with people that are bringing you down and are dampening your spirit, you should walk away from that. There's a quote that says that you should walk away from anything that no longer serves you. And I feel like that's really important because especially as young girls, we put so much of our self-esteem in other people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where it becomes that we depend solely on them for us to feel good about ourselves. But it shouldn't be like that. You should feel good about yourself regardless of what anybody else thinks. And that in itself is revolutionary too. But I feel like it's really important for you to understand and for you to be conscious of the fact that as much as you don't think about it or as much as you don't feel like it's necessary, the things that other people are saying are shaping up your life. So how do I deal with it? I have a lot of people that say good things about me and a lot of people that say not so good things about me. But it's in the way that you take it. That is true. But then it's also in things that you actually want to work on. If someone is telling me something like, hey Aisha, I feel like you're a really good speaker, but maybe you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that. That is constructive criticism. But if someone comes right out to you and says, oh my God, what do you think, who do you think you are, da 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 da, and they feel like you're bringing down your spirit, two things. I reject every negative word that they say about me. And then the other thing is I just really try my possible best not to dwell on it, because I'm like that. When someone says something, I dwell on it and I think about it, and then sometimes it really gets me down, and then you're just like, oh my God, why did I even allow this to happen in the first place? But it is what it is. It happens. But in order for you to have a healthy self-esteem, and in order for you to keep growing, you have to be conscious of the criticisms that you take and the things that you allow to feed into your spirit. It's really important. We tend to internalize the things that we hear about ourselves, the negative things that we hear about ourselves, more so than the positive things. So the question is, how do I deal with it? I feel like one thing is this: when someone says anything negative about me, I cancel it. And when I say cancel it, I refuse it, because I do not allow those words to take effect in my life. The moment you allow it to do that, you dwell on it and then it becomes part of your reality, right? How do you differentiate criticism from, what's the word I'm looking for? How do you separate criticism from negativity, right? So in certain cases, you'd have someone say something to you with the sole intent of actually hurting you, and it's not like a positive thing. They're just saying it because they want to hurt you. And then you have someone else that is telling you something just so that you can better yourself as a person. Number one, figure out the ones that are criticisms and figure out the ones that are negativity. You should never allow negativity into your life. You should never allow someone else's definition of you be the driving force or be the reason why you're living or the reason why you're doing something. And I feel like that's always really, really important. That translates into self-care, you taking care of yourself and taking care of your mental well-being and your spiritual well-being and all of that stuff. Because the more negative words that you hear and like the more you internalize it, it actually takes you into a very, very dark place. I know it. That's why I'm saying it. I feel like it's important to know when and where to internalize stuff, right? I can tell you how beautiful you are. I can tell you how smart you are. I can tell you how intelligent you are. I can tell you how you can do everything and anything that you put your mind to. But then the reality is this: if you don't believe that for yourself, it's not real, right? Your reality is not based on what someone else is saying. Your reality is based on what you believe about yourself, and that's where self-esteem comes in, and that's where self-love and self-care comes in. Tips. Okay, number one is this: when you feel really down or when you feel low, and there will be times when you will feel very down and you will feel like, oh my God, I can't take this life anymore and all of that stuff. Think about all the beautiful things that has happened in your life. For me, I like to go through my text messages and remember the beautiful things that people said about me, or even like scrolling up to my newsfeed on Facebook and looking at the birthday messages that I got. That really uplifts my spirit because it gets me to know that someone is thinking about me. But then also at the same time, I put myself in a position where I'm able to reflect positively on my life. I feel like it's really important for you to reflect on yourself and reflect on the things that you do and the things that you say. Don't get me wrong, I'm saying all the things that someone else is saying and all the things that we say to ourselves, but then reality is this: we also say bad things about people and we also say bad things to people. You also have to be very mindful of the words that you say, because your words are life. Words in itself hold so much power. The moment you speak a negative word to someone, it actually is a spirit, and it goes around until it manifests into the things that you've said it will do. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I always say to like even parents, when you're saying to your kid, you're so stupid, you're so dumb, you're so this, you're so this. One of the things that you don't realize and you don't recognize is that the more you say those things on their lives, the more it manifests, the more it actually becomes their reality, because they are not counteracting that with positivity. It becomes their reality, right? So when someone says something negative about you, if someone says you're stupid, counteract that with positivity. Say to yourself, no, I'm not stupid. I'm an intelligent being. I'm in the process of learning about myself, and I'm going to be great. That is my remedy to it, to be honest with you. Maybe there's other ways that you deal with it, but I feel like negative words are something that we have to cut off right at the moment, because if you don't, it affects your self-esteem in so many ways. The people that you care about, the people around you that you love and you respect, the things that they say about you affect you. It can be negatively, it can be positively. And I feel like it's really important for you to be mindful of those words, mindful of the things that you say to each other, mindful of the things that you say about other people, even when they're not there, because words travel, news travels, and the things that you say, as much as you feel like, oh, it's nothing, maybe it's the truth, whatever it is, you're actually hurting someone else. One of the things that I want you to realize is this, that your self-esteem is not in anyone else. It's not embedded in someone or in something or in an illusion. Your self-esteem is you. It's how do I feel about myself? How do I make myself better in order to better the people around me? I said this in my last video that it's impossible for you to love yourself. It's impossible to love other people if you first not discovered who you are and loving yourself for who you are. You understand what I'm saying? Flaws and all. We're all not perfect. Like I said, we're perfectly imperfect. But then get to that state where you're comfortable with who you are and you're comfortable in your loneliness and you're comfortable with you. Like you just love yourself for just who you are. There's still room for improvement, and it's also in recognizing that I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and my journey is not yet over. My journey has not come to an end yet, right? Love yourself. Accept yourself for who you are. You're not perfect, and that's okay. I'm not perfect, and that's okay. It's just a matter of how do I make myself better? How do I learn from my mistakes? How do I learn from the things that didn't serve me? The other thing too is this. Be able to differentiate between negativity and criticism. When someone says something negative, counteract it with a positive word, counteract it with positive actions, counteract it with positive quotes. The third thing is this. Be very mindful of the things that you're saying. Be mindful of your words and recognize that your words are life. Your words in itself hold so much power. They can either break someone or build someone up. In the same way, recognize the words that you're saying to yourself. At the end of the day, you have to recognize this. I can love you. I can say that I love you, but if you don't love yourself, all that I'm saying is nothing. So please, 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 please love yourself. Get to that stage where you're really, really, really in love with yourself. And when I say in love with yourself, you're so in love with yourself that you don't care about society's definition of you. You understand what I'm saying? Get to that point. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you get to that point where you're just so carefree and you're so confident in yourself. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, but I recognize that self-esteem is really important. And the way that I see myself is really important because it affects everything else. So that's why we're still on the chronicles of self. That's why we're still on self. Because in order for you to develop every other area of yourself, every other area in your life, you have to first develop yourself. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in again. It's Aisha. Remember to own your voice, love yourself. I love you. God loves you. What are some of the things that you do when someone says negative things against you, right? So be sure to comment, subscribe, share, like this video, and just share the journey, and invite more people to join us on our journey of discovery. Thank you guys so very much.